talk, yeah, quest talk, yeah, quest talk, yeah, quest talk, yeah. I hope you're in the mood for some good interviews. Go get your parents too. It's quest talk. This show won't make you mad. In fact, it'll make you glad. The most fun you'll ever have is quest talk. Let's have fun. Listen to stories from others. We can all learn together. Meet all your favorite people. Maybe we'll find some treasure. So let's put on the show. Call all your friends on the phone. Talk about all of your dreams. Believe you can do anything. Welcome to Quest Talk.
What's this?
I'm just playing with you guys.
Welcome to another episode of Quest Talk. Whoop whoop! Today we have a very special guest coming, and his name is Pelham. So I'm looking forward to all he's gonna share with us, and I hope you are too. Let's get ready to find some treasures. Today we have a very special guest, and we're gonna ask him a couple of questions. So here's our first question.
Cool.
Tell us your name and the name of your business.
Cool. My name is Justin Pelham, and the name of my business is called Pelham and Jr.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
What made you want to start your business idea?
Well, basically, Pelham and Jr. is a music production company, and so I've been making music ever since I was like your age, and yeah, so
That's crazy.
yes, I've always loved music, and so me and my buddy, his name is Pat Jr., and he's a dope producer and artist as well. And so 2017, we decided to make what's called a sample pack just for fun. So a lot of producers, they'll take loops like you do. I know you find loops that are dope, and then you just add drums to them, and you can make beats out of them. So we decided to do that for fun. Then a company saw what we did for fun, and they asked us to do it for money. Yeah, and then we did that for like 2 months, and then their company changed where they weren't going to work with outside people anymore. But instead of just like letting us go or like firing us, they decided to introduce us to a guy who runs a store that sells samples. And so once they did that, then we decided to just make our own company, and we called it Pelham and Jr. because my name is Justin Pelham and he's Pat Jr. And yeah, so once we started that, the rest was history. We made a company.
So it's basically like a combination of you and him?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What kind of things do you do at your job/business?
All right. So what I do at my job, most of the time I just make music. I make loops. I make sounds. We make beats. Sometimes we even get to make music for like commercials or TV shows. So I've done that, and then if I'm not doing that, like there are some days where like I still have to do like boring stuff like paperwork or posting online and stuff like that. But that comes with any entrepreneur, any business. So, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, I'm just making music and having fun, which is pretty dope.
And I've seen your ABC Christmas thing. Link it down below so you can check that out.
Cool. Thank you, man. Yeah.
And next question anyway. Just move on, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Where can you find jobs involving sound and music production?
That's a really great question, because a lot of people want to find out, how can I get into music production as a career? How can I make money doing it, right? And so there's a few avenues that I know of. So one really easy way to get into music production is actually at your local church. And so a lot of people don't realize is that whenever you have sound, whenever you have instruments, there's somebody that's putting it all together. And so sometimes the musician is the sound guy. So if you learn how to play an instrument, you could play in your church band, or you can be the sound guy. You're on the mixer and doing the microphones and all that stuff. Another way is to actually get into software engineering, which doesn't really sound like it makes sense, but a lot of the companies that make software for musicians, like the software you have on your iPad or like the software that I use to make beats, there are companies that code and make those programs. Yeah, and it's a really big industry for people who know not only music but know software. And so that's why I got into software as well. And the third and probably the biggest opportunity for musicians is entrepreneurship, actually. So a lot of artists and producers are their own business, or they make companies like the one that we made, and you can either just sell your music directly to fans or customers, or you can partner with bigger companies. And there are some bigger companies out there that will actually let you sell your sounds through their platforms, and then they'll just take a cut of the money, but they might have a bigger audience. And so it all depends on whichever way makes more sense to you.
I definitely get that.
Yeah.
Why is sound production so important?
Man, sound production is super duper important, right? So you watch movies and TV and YouTube, right? I watch a ton of YouTube. So if you think about sound and music, right? It's almost like a language for emotions, if that makes sense, right? So I can record a video, right, of a person walking down the street, and then I can play some sad music and put it to that dude walking down the street, and all of a sudden, like, you think, oh man, he must be sad. But then I can replace that music with something that's happy, and you think, oh wow, he's happy, he's going on a walk, right? Or I can play some scary music to that same video, and you're like, oh man, is somebody chasing him? Is a monster gonna come out, right? And so the music is super important because it lets the filmmaker or the producer or whoever's like making that content, it really allows them to like show an emotion to whoever's watching it, you know? And so that's why like mumble rappers, right? That's why mumble rappers are so successful, because like it don't even really matter what you say. You can like, you can do that, right? But as long as the beat sounds good and it feels good, it don't even really matter. Like people are still gonna like it because like the production is really what's more important.
Good. What did you want to be when you were young?
When I was your age, I wanted to be a lot of stuff. I think three things that I wanted to be, right? So one was I wanted to be a mechanical engineer when I was in elementary school. Yeah. And so think about mechanical engineers, like they build things like machines, right? And so I really love cars. I used to like have like a bunch of like Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars when I was little. So I wanted to make cars when I was like in elementary school. Yeah, but then my parents, when they started their church when I was younger, they needed musicians. And so they kind of made me and my younger brother like be the musicians for the church. Yeah, so that's how I got into music when I was in elementary school. And so after that, I wanted to be a music producer.
That's when the magic happens.
That's exactly. Yeah. And I guess the third thing was like I always loved computers. I used to like mess around with the computers in elementary school. Yeah, I used to get in trouble for it. But it's because I was curious. Don't do that. Right, disclaimer.
Warning, if you touch things you're not supposed to, your face will look like Quest and your butt will hurt.
Don't do stuff you're not supposed to do just because you're curious about it, right?
Yes.
But if there's something that you're interested in, just ask your parents, hey, how can I learn more about this? That's why I actually went to college to be a computer and a software engineer, because I really love computers as well.
One more add-on to that engineer stuff. You do not know how much Hot Wheels I have. Like, I have like 1 million. It's so much. I can't even count them all. It's so much. What was it like growing up in your childhood?
Okay. Growing up, I grew up in Florida, in Daytona Beach, Florida. So it was really hot. But we had a lot of fun. We used to go outside and play and run and do all that kind of stuff, right? But I grew up in church as well. And so my parents were always in church. And that's when I started learning how to play music too. When I was 4, I used to play drums. And then, when I was in elementary school, you play drums?
Yeah, finger drum.
Right. So you already know what it is, right? Drums is dope.
I'm just playing with you.
What I was gonna say real quick is that when I was a kid, it was cool because like I grew up in like a musical family, and then when my parents started a church, they kind of made me and my little brother like become musicians. And at first we didn't like it because it was hard, but then once we got used to it, yeah, it is. But the more we did it, then the more we got good at it, and we started to like it. And so my parents, one thing about them, they're super supportive. Like your parents, you have some awesome parents because they support you and they invest in you, right? Because stuff costs money, like this iPad, like the camera, all this stuff costs money. And in order for them to spend money, they have to invest in you because they believe in you and they want you to succeed, right? And so having parents that invest in you, like the ones that we have, is awesome. So that's why my childhood was pretty cool.
Shout out to you, Mom and Dad, watching this.
The real MVP.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
How was life back then different from today?
Man, life was real different. All right. So one big thing is technology, obviously, right?
Yes.
So when I was a kid, you know, we had to like, if we wanted to call somebody or use a phone, we had to like go to the house.
Yes.
And call somebody on this thing called a landline because it was a cord literally attached to the house. Yeah, you couldn't just put the phone in your pocket. It didn't work like that. So the first iPhone came out when I was a freshman in college. Yeah, and now everyone has a smartphone, right?
Yep. You. Even you.
And just like we were talking off camera earlier, how in high school, one cool thing happened with music. So before high school, for me, if you wanted to be successful as a producer or as a musician, you needed to have like a record deal with a record label, and you need to have a lot of money because the equipment and the studio time to record it cost a lot of money. But when I was in high school, that's when the recording equipment actually got cheap enough so that regular people like us could buy it and make our own music. We didn't need a record label. We didn't need a big studio with giant knobs and consoles and stuff.
Nope.
And so there's this guy named Soulja Boy. Okay, you know who Soulja Boy is, right? A little bit before your time.
Yep.
But you know, you already know who it is. And so he was one of the first people to actually record his own music and put it on YouTube. And he went viral. He was one of the first people to actually do his own music and get big without a record label. And now you can just record your own music on an iPad and just upload it by yourself.
Yeah.
And so that actually happened when I was in high school.
What are some dreams or ideas you want your kids to learn or develop?
Great question. Great question. What do I want my kids to learn and develop? The obvious thing is music. I really want my kids to learn how to learn an instrument and play an instrument well, like piano or guitar, and make beats and mix and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so not only is it fun, but like one thing that I've heard about musicians is that like when you learn how to make music and develop music, it actually helps other parts of your brain. So you get smarter at like math and reading and science and stuff like that because your brain gets stronger whenever you create music. Another thing is like programming and technology. Like a dream of mine is to build a robot with my son. Yeah, that's something I really want to do.
That's what I want to do. So he can do my math so I don't have to. I'm just playing.
You already got the entrepreneur mindset, right? So you're going to hire somebody to do his stuff. So yeah, there's potential in that. And last thing is entrepreneurship. I really want my kids to learn how to master like money and business and how to start and run their own business so that they can do whatever they want to do, whenever they get older.
Who has inspired you to do great things in your life?
Wow. Really my family. My family has been a huge inspiration to me. Like my parents, like my mom and dad are like the most consistent and hardworking people that I've ever met in my whole life. So like when I was a kid, I saw them like run businesses. I saw them run their church. I saw them work really hard, and so they taught me like what hard work and success was all about. Yeah, and then my siblings, like I have a sister and two brothers, and I have a wife and kids, and I really want to make them proud. And so they inspire me. So when stuff gets hard, or if I don't feel like doing something, like I'll think about them, and then you know, I don't want to let them down. So it just kind of makes me like work even harder.
Same to you, my family. If you're watching this, give us at least one quest for wisdom statement.
Okay. One statement that I really want to give you, especially, and everybody watching, is that success is a journey and not a destination.
Yeah.
Basically, what that means is that if you want to be successful in anything, that you have to fall in love with the process and not the result. So, for example, if you want to be a great athlete, let's say you want to be a great basketball player, then yeah, right? I know you hoop, right? So if you want to be a great basketball player, then you can't focus on like trophies and stats. You have to focus on handling drills, putting up shots, getting in the weight room, right? If you can really love the work and the process, then you'll automatically be great, right?
Yes.
Even like as a student or a musician, you really have to fall in love with learning, right? So if you really love learning new things, studying, then you will automatically be great. You'll automatically make dope music. You'll automatically get good grades, right? Not because you just wake up one day and you're just great because, you know, God made you great, but you got to put in the work, right?
Yep.
But if you love learning and studying and putting in the work, then you'll automatically be successful no matter
A
what.
pro.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Awesome. Dude, I really appreciate you inviting me on. It's super dope, man. And so when you get to 1,000 subscribers, let me know so we can get back, we can turn it up or something.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Now to the fun stuff.
Alright, now I'm Tony Starks. Beat battle in 3, 2, 1.
Yes, sir. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on?
All right, so we're going to have us a little battle, a little beat battle. We're going to go back and forth. He might be. I don't know. We're going to find out in a little bit. So, all right, y'all. So we're going to make some beats. So before we really dive into it, I'm going to just go over a few things. So if you want to start learning how to make music, make beats, or learning audio production, just a few things you need to start first. So number one, you're going to need some software and some equipment. So the easiest thing to do, if you don't have anything, is if you have a laptop or if you have a tablet like an iPad, just find some software. So Quest uses Trap Pads.
Trap Drum Pads 24.
Trap Drum Pads 24.
Link
there
in
you
the
go.
description. You can check that out.
Yeah, so that's a really easy and fun way to get into making beats. Or if you have a laptop, you can use what's called a DAW, which is Digital Audio Workstation. And there's a bunch of them out there, like Studio One, FL Studio, Ableton. There's a ton of them out there. And so just talk to your parents and you know, I use all of them, so I don't really have a recommendation. But I'm going to be using FL Studio today. So I'm going to show you how I make this beat, right?
Okay.
I'm going to show you all the stuff that went into to making it. Okay. So the first thing I did was I made a loop.
Okay.
And I wanted it to sound like video games.
Okay.
So
Oh!
I just made a little loop right here.
Okay, that's
Alright? And so then I made another loop just to kind of like give it some more excitement, right? So that's the second loop that I use, right? Then I found some video game sounds and I just kind of made a transition with it.
it's dope.
Bet. So the next thing I did, right? Loops are basically sounds that you can download and import into your software. And our company, Pelham Jr., we make loops just for that purpose, right? And match them up with your tempo, right? Tempo is listed as BPM. It stands for beats per minute.
How fast something goes.
Exactly.
Learned about that in music.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dr. Barr.
Dr. Barr, you're the truth, man. So I'm gonna add some drums. So this one is made by a company called Akai, or if you have a tablet like this iPad, you can just use the screen as a controller to either play your melodies or your beats, right? So I have a kick,
Oh!
I have a snare, and I have Yeah, it's percussion. In this
Stick?
case, it's like a little clap sound,
Okay.
right? So, right? So I just did something like. Alright, so I just did something kind of like that, but it sounded way better when I did it for real. So.
Bro!
So, I just recorded that and added it to it.
Bro, that is...
Next thing, so one thing that's really important to music and beats is bass. You need bass, right? Actually made a melody with it.
Is it even deeper?
They kind of go along with it. So, then the next thing, it's just like food, right? I need to add a little seasoning on top of it. This. So. Alright, so then the last thing I did.
The big boy.
This dude. Come get your kid. This dude. So another thing for music production, you don't want it to be too repetitive. You want people to feel a certain way, give them something, and then like change it up.
Oh, that's Final Fantasy.
There you go. So I use the same drums, but then I put like a different melody behind it.
Oh!
So it's one really easy way to like make something sound new without doing like redoing everything. But then I added back in my original loop.
Bro, this is better than DJ Captain C. He's a remixer on your best friend.
Yeah? That's pretty dope.
He's dope, but not as dope as you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. So, and that's my beat. Alright, so that's my beat. Alright, man. So, Quest, I play my beats. I really want to hear what you got, because I know you got some heat.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's see here.
Hey. Like that loop. Let's go. Let's go! My goodness! Oh my goodness! Quest Beats, man. Quest Beats. You a pro!
Thank you.
You a pro, man!
Thank you for watching this amazing episode of Quest Talk. I hope you enjoyed. I did. Like, comment, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. And don't forget, with wisdom and action, we can quest and do anything.